On today's Try to Finish Something, I want to start with a little story. I know my wife filters who she tells I'm a giant nerd to, and I know my daughter, my oldest daughter, trembles in fear anytime she has a friend over because she does not want me talking about a Star Wars room build or some sort of costuming thing, and she wants nothing to do with letting any of her friends know about my nerddom and things like this YouTube channel, Try to Finish Something, where a lot of the builds are super nerdy, but I have to admit, I filter that a little myself and don't necessarily share this with everybody, except you and the YouTube community. So I guess they could find it. Anyway, I'm going down that rabbit hole. I was getting the rear tire of my tractor repaired at a local tire shop up here in California, and the gentleman who was repairing the tire, turned out to be the owner, was wearing a Star Wars t-shirt, and I sparked up a Star Wars conversation with him as he was telling me how he was going to repair this tire. And the conversation about nerd builds and some of the things I do and about how I'm going to actually create a ship crash through my ceiling, that's a whole different story for some other time, but he started asking me where I get the things that become Star Wars props. And I said that they're a lot of time innards to electronic devices, and he kind of scratched the side of his face and he said, antique electronic devices, something that is of interest to you? And I said, yeah, you bet. He said, come around the back of the shop with me. And I go back with him. I'm thinking one of two things are going to happen. Something super cool, or I'm going to wind up in a cardboard box at the bottom of a river somewhere, and I'm willing to take that chance for something cool. And he showed me a phone operator cord board. You know, if you've watched old episodes of the Andy Griffith Show where they transfer the call to the sheriff and they have to pull out that cord and plug it in to transfer the call, it was one of those. And I have no idea how long it had been at this shop, and he didn't either. And he said, I'll get a couple guys from the shop and probably take 3 or 4 of us. We can load it into the back of your truck. And I said, yes, please. And the only stipulation was, he said, when I build something, I have to show him some pictures. That is a deal I can make. And so on today's Try to Finish Something, I'm going on a Greebly hunt. I'm going to start taking this massive phone operator cord board apart and see what it is that I can find inside. And that's what I'm going to do on today's Try to Finish Something. So this is the phone operator cord board that I needed the tractor to unload. This thing probably weighs 400 to 500 pounds. It is a beast. For you, this is a 5-minute video that took me 4 hours to take apart. If it doesn't work at my house, it trembles in fear because it knows it is going to eventually get taken apart. The secret I've found to taking things apart is to go slow and leave as much initially intact as possible. Sometimes the connections and the way it is secured takes a bit to figure out, but once it starts to come apart, my imagination starts to overflow. There are the obvious cords for the phone board that I'm sure I'll use some of those intact because that's a pretty unique look, but it has some really neat screws and fuses and sockets and where the cords plug into. Oh God, there's so many fuses and connectors. This is going to really add depth to a
control board or some sort of prop, but here are a few of my favorites. This connector board, and I have the corresponding plugs that fit into these. Super cool looking. I have about a dozen or more of these lights. And these, whatever they are, they've got threaded holes in the base, so I could put a hole in some styrene or acrylic and thread this through with a screw on the backside and mount it at any orientation. And I probably have 200 or more of these. And a few of this style that also have the threaded base. Again, take things apart. My wife is really not happy about the pile of what she would say is crap on the picnic table outside, but now I have to go and find Greeblies storage and continue to break down all of this farther to see what else sparks my imagination. I'm going to leave you with some close-up shots to see if you have any ideas or suggestions, but as always, I really hope you liked the video, and if you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you didn't, as always, just keep it to yourself, and we'll see you next time as we try to finish something.